Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Hello, everyone. Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Meleny Nadi. She is the founder and creator of Mellow Bliss, based in Innisfil, Ontario. How you doing?
I'm good, Brad. How are you? Thanks for having me today.
I'm doing great, Meleny. Thank you for agreeing to be part of the podcast and be a guest here today. How's your morning going so far?
It's going great. It's a beautiful day outside, and I'm just grateful to be here sharing this time with you.
Excellent. Well, I'm happy to have you. So let's jump right in. You hold a Bachelor of Arts degree, a Bachelor of Education, a Fashion Design Diploma, and Visual Merchandising Arts Diploma. You're the founder and creator of Mellow Bliss, a business that encompasses a pop-up boutique shop and holistic healing services. You've traveled the world learning and studying. You're a 9th generation Reiki master. And last but not least, of course, a mama of 2. Why did you decide not to pursue a career in teaching?
Wow. Thank you for that introduction. So I do teach. I'm just not an elementary school teacher.
Okay.
So I went to teachers college for 4 years, and I had the opportunity to teach a grade 2 class and then a grade 5, 6 split class.
Okay.
And when I graduated university, I taught kindergarten for a year. And I think at that point I had, enough experience as a school teacher to know that I just wasn't what I saw myself doing for the rest of my life.
Right.
And that's hard, because I spent so much time in school doing it, and I love children, and I love teaching, and I knew I wanted to teach. I just think that the school system was a bit structured and regimented for the kind of person I evolved into. And so now I'm a Reiki teacher, and my passion is teaching about spirituality and healing, just not an elementary school teacher, I guess.
Out of the school system.
Yes, it's different. It's a different kind of teaching. So I knew I wanted to teach. I just think that the school teaching profession just kind of made me realize this isn't what I want to do, but I definitely want to teach. I just had to figure out how I was going to get to teaching without teaching school kids.
Excellent. I read that you found your calling in life on your world's travels. Is that part of the reason you set out on your journey to travel and to find your true calling, or that just came and evolved into finding your calling as you were traveling?
Yeah, I think that's more accurate. Brad, at the time, when I decided I was going to start to travel, I really don't think I knew what I was seeking. I just knew that I wanted to travel to remote places, the untraveled road, as they say.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, like at that time, I was seeking solitude. I was seeking freedom, which isn't something I have felt being in school for so long and living with my parents. So I think it was just that inner calling and me listening to it. But I didn't have any idea that travel would be like the doorway to finding my purpose. No, definitely not.
Very cool. How long did your world tour last?
How long did my world tour? I don't think my world tour ever ended, Brad. I really don't. I'm always touring. I'm always someplace, somewhere, so to speak. But I would say I spent about seven years touring, which is before I had my children.
Right.
And so it was around 7 years that I was kind of this free-spirited world traveler. I still am, but I think when I had children, that changed a bit. So I would say probably about 7 years.
Wow. Traveling is such an incredible thing. And I think that gift needs to be bestowed onto our children. I think that they need to travel and see the world because there's so much out there to experience. And I hear of so many people not even like being grown adults and they haven't even left the city they live in or left the province that they live in here in Canada or the state or city in the US. Like to me, that's sad. I mean, Travel is such an amazing thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always say, go someplace new every chance you get, even if it's like we're in this whole situation in the world right now. And it's like, well, I'm still traveling. I'm just traveling, you know, down the street. I'm traveling to other parts in Ontario that I haven't seen. So it's, you know, people have this idea that like, oh, I don't want to get on the plane, and Canada's the blessed place in the world. And it's like, yeah, it is. But you don't learn being in the same place and doing the same things over and over. You have to break away from that and see the world. Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, sure, get out and see your country, see Canada. If this is where you live, get out and see Canada for sure. It is a beautiful country, but there is still a hell of a lot more out there in the world to see too. So venture outside of the country as well.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So travel's been part of your life for pretty much your whole life. I mean, you traveled a lot as a kid too with your parents, correct?
Yep.
What is it that you personally love so much about traveling? What is it for you that lights you up about it?
You know, anywhere that I've traveled, like I'm very also like specific about where I want to travel. Like when I travel somewhere, I'm looking to be submerged into that culture. I want to, you know, I want to eat their food that they're eating. I want to know what traditional garments they wear, what music they listen to. I don't know. I want to know how they pray, who they pray to. So I don't just go to like, you know, I'm not like looking for the cheapest all-inclusive and I'm going there. I want to go to a country, yes, for a vacation, but I want to travel to a place where I can fully be embodied and submerged in the place I'm visiting. And I want to be among the locals. I don't want to be among the tourists. So some people love to travel to, you know, those all-inclusives, and I love to do that too. You know, of course, especially with kids. But for me, I think the best part of traveling is really being a part of that culture. Like if I'm going to Thailand, I'm coming back like Thai. You know what I mean? Like you know what I just like to be a part of that culture when I'm there, and that's my favorite thing ever. I'm really submerged, and I think that love for that is that it really allows you to be present when you're submerged into something. That's why so much healing happens, because you're fully present in whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's you're eating their food or you're at a monument, learning about their history. It's just, and so for me, it's being submerged in the culture. And every time I come back from a trip, big or small, I come back a little more enlightened. I never come back the same person.
Yeah.
So I think it awakens my soul. Like people say they travel to lose themselves. I think that we travel to find ourselves.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not one for all-inclusive resort. I would much rather go to a country in Europe and see the sights and like you said, immerse myself in the culture and visit the monuments and learn about the history of the country and all that. Sitting on a beach to me is boring as hell. I'm not interested in that.
I do that too. But it's like, it's not all I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, and before actually, it's funny you say that, because I think when I started out in traveling, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to beach bum and do nothing. But I think that was after university, and it was like my relaxing time. But eventually the travel turned into, no, like if I'm spending this kind of money and I'm traveling across the world, I want to learn. And it doesn't mean I'm learning like I'm going to a course or picking up a school book like I've been taught to do, but it's like I want to learn from going to this small community and seeing how much poverty's there. You know, like, so for me, that's knowledge that you can't find that in a book.
Exactly. I've always said that you can read about these countries in books and whatnot, but actually being there and visiting the country will teach you more than any book could ever possibly teach you.
Absolutely. I have goosebumps because I think that is so, it resonates because, you know, I've had people tell me like, oh, your kids are so young, they're never going to remember. And it triggers me a bit because I'm thinking, but they will remember it. They won't remember the beach's name and the seashells we collected necessarily, but they'll remember the lessons. They'll remember the family time. They'll remember, like my daughter's only 4.5, but she remembers trips from when she was only 2 years old. So I think that people have a different idea on it, but
yeah,
I'm glad we have the right idea at least.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I think it's important to impart these, and I call these things, if you're doing these types of things with your kids, it's these types of things like creating memories when you go on these trips and travel with these kids, as opposed to giving them materialistic things. Who gives a shit? That toy will break and they'll forget all about it. A travel experience, they will never forget. They may be young, but they will remember certain things. And you cannot take that away from anybody, because that's up here in your mind. And I don't know, to me, that's more valuable than any toy or materialistic thing you could buy children. Give them experiences. That's what life is all about.
Absolutely. Yes. Collect memories, not things. I think the quote is that reminded me of what you're saying right now. So yeah, absolutely. I think that's the same goes for me. It's, I don't save my money to buy the next best, whatever it is. I'd rather, have drive a mediocre car, but, but I'll spend all my money on my experiences traveling. And that's just what's important to me.
Yeah. To each their own.
Exactly.
So you've studied alongside some of the leading experts and teachers in the field of energy and alternative medicine. What is it about that world that excites and inspires you?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I think having said everything that we just said, the world is my healer. It's my teacher. And so I think kind of reiterating what we just talked about is that so much of my learning has come from other parts of the world. When I think of let's say, yoga and Ayurveda, which are things that I are incorporated in my own lifestyle, they originated in India. Reiki healing, which is also something that I practice, originated in Japan and then crossed over to Hawaii. And now all these practices are spread all over the world. I think that fascinates me, like this web of interconnectedness, I guess. Is what inspires me. I'm fascinated by the ancient teachings, I guess, that we have access to through this global consciousness, this global connectedness. I think that's what inspires me about the world. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't inspire me, but if we're talking about what inspires me, it's just that the interconnectedness of ancient teachings and knowledge, and how something originated in India and now I can cultivate that in my life. And I just have so much reverence for that. It's like, thank you, India. Thank you, Japan. Thank you, Hawaii. Thank you for all these places that have given us this wisdom, and we have access to that. I think it's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's incredible.
Yeah, it really is.
Now, you mentioned Reiki. You're a 9th generation Reiki master. What does that mean as opposed to a 1st or 2nd generation Reiki master? What's the difference? Can you explain a bit about that? Reiki's been around since the 1920s. Okay. And how it's basically, it's passed down from a master to a student, and that's how you get attuned or initiated into Reiki. So, I'm from the direct Shui lineage. I studied in Thailand and went over to Japan. And so I happened to be from the direct lineage. I didn't plan that. It just happened to be part of my dharma, my journey. Yeah. And so I'm from the direct lineage, and Ishui is the founder of Reiki. So essentially, my master, who I was taught by, was an 8th master from the lineage. And then when he attuned me, he named me a 9th master, and it got passed on to me. So so it was passed on to me basically from my master. Okay. All right.
Yeah. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. So you are the founder and owner of Mellow Bliss. Tell us a bit about your business.
Ooh, okay. So this is my baby. Okay. So so there's 2 sides to my business. On one side, I sell bohemian and handmade beachwear. And then the other side is my holistic healing practice, and they're kind of just the whole, 2 parts made of a whole. So for my clothing side of the business, I specialize in handmade crochet. I design all my crochet garments, and so I'm essentially a designer. Yeah. And then I also carry hand-picked garments that I've shopped from all parts of the world that I've visited. Yeah, so I love bringing, those influences from the places I've visited. Right. So I guess you can say my boutique pieces are all worldly inspired. Yeah. And I keep my collections boutique. They're one of a kind. They're limited. So you'll only find like one or two of the same piece, and I like don't mass produce anything. That's like a big thing for me. Yeah, I want to keep it boutique. I want to keep it unique to its buyer. And so that's kind of the clothing side of the business. I support local artisans across the world. Fair trade and eco-consciousness are definitely my priority in this business.
Yeah.
So that's something so that's my clothing side of the business. And then for the healing side of my practice, so yes, I'm a Reiki master, a certified holistic practitioner. I'm a spiritual teacher as well, as I mentioned earlier. And I also do intuitive healing. And so my biggest, I guess, focus as a healer is on emotional healing.
Okay.
So a lot of my clients struggle with things like stress, anxiety, depression, grief of lost ones, like being like death or divorce or whatnot.
Yeah.
Just like low vibrational energies, like in our behavioral patterns. So that I work with clients who are struggling with that and kind of lead them into a healthy path and transmute those energies and those emotional blockages so that they can align with their purpose. I like to empower people and remind them who they are. And I don't just work with adults. I work with kids. I work with children. I work with pets. Yeah, I work with.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is a practice that can be used on your pets, on your children.
Amazing.
And I work with all sorts of children and people and animals. And so, yeah.
Very cool. So the clothing side of your business, you design the pieces. Do you make them as well? Do you manufacture them, or do you source that out?
No, they're all made. They're all handmade.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not the hand-picked garments are not. They're hand-picked.
Yeah.
And then the crochet garments, I design them, and then I have my artisans make them, or my mom, because she's an artisan as well.
Okay.
So I have a few people on my team. It's funny that you asked that, because I think for a very long time I tried to emulate my mom and I tried to make, and then I realized that it was just not mom. Mom is the artisan, mom's the maker, and I'm the designer. And so that's the role that I took on. I mean, I can make stuff. I just don't. I think that I'd rather just design because I'm better at that. Yeah.
That's very cool. You work with your mom. That's awesome.
Yeah. My mom's got a huge part in this business too, because she's an artisan, and she's the one who's introduced me to crochet. It's timeless, right? So definitely got that bit from my mom. Yeah.
Very cool. So how long have you been in business now as Mellow Bliss?
I'm going to say 2014, so 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, about 6 years.
Okay.
Just over 6 years. Yeah.
And where did the name come from? How did you come up with the name for it?
Okay, the name. So, growing up, I had the nickname Mellow, which is kind of funny because I'm not. I mean, I can be mellow.
You're anything but.
It's kind of like, how did I get that nickname? But I did have that nickname growing up because my name's Meleny, so I guess it was like Mellow, like, and so I think that was kind of the planted seed. I was known as Mellow. Okay. But I think I remember I was just hanging out one night, and I found myself like humming a tune, and the words were actually like Mellow Bliss. Like I was singing it, and I thought, what is that? What's Mellow Bliss? Like I wasn't even thinking of my business name. Yeah. And then I thought, oh my God, Mellow Bliss. So I went on the computer, searched if the name was taken, and it wasn't. Mm-hmm. And I just, when you have that moment where you're in alignment and I was like, that's the name. Yeah. Like it just resonates. It just resonated. And I think it reflected a part of who I was, but also I was birthing this new business, and I'm like, that's what I want people to feel. Yeah. Whether it's through my garments, or through the healing practice, like Mellow Bliss.
Very cool. So in terms of the business, when you came up with the idea for the business, did you start out as just the holistic healing part of it and then add the clothing? Like, where did the idea for the clothing part of the business come from? How did you decide to, I'm going to add clothing, or I'm going to sell clothing as well?
Yeah, I think that clothing actually came before the healing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I went to, before university, before becoming a teacher, I was in the fashion. I did my fashion diploma, and I was kind of, and that's what I wanted to do. But then, graduated college, same thing. Don't know what I want to do. Then went to university, became a teacher. Don't know what I wanted to. So it was like, I had all these little parts of who I was, but it was like, how can I integrate them into something I really want to do? So fashion and design have been a huge part of my family. My dad's an interior designer.
Oh, okay.
My mom's a seamstress and an artisan. So I kind of grew up learning about fabric and design from a very young age. Yeah.
Oh.
So so I think I inherited a lot of it from my parents, but beyond that, like I've always had an eye for fashion. Like I was always known as this fashionista. I worked in retail growing up. It was my first job. And so the fashion was always there, but the idea of beachwear specifically, it came into light whenever I would travel. I would go to like our local shopping stores, like whatever, like Winners, Marshalls, Aerie, like all those mainstream stores.
Yeah.
And I could never find what I wanted.
Right.
I wanted crochet. I wanted things that were like sexy and like embodied my own self-expression. And I could never find that. I was like, I don't want to wear that. I don't want this polyester bathing suit. I want something unique and handmade. And then you go and you shop for handmade stuff and it would be like so expensive. And I thought, you know what? I want to do this. I'm going to design my own beachwear. And I owned hundreds of bikinis that were unique. And so I think I came up with the idea from like bikinis, and then it turned into beachwear. And it was like, I need to do this rather than shop for it.
Very cool. Very cool. Can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Like just go out on your own and create your own thing.
Yeah, and I think that's how a lot of people come up with their purpose. It's like, you're looking for something and you can't find it, create it.
Yeah, exactly. So your business, your company, Mellow Bliss, is this if I'm thinking correctly, this is not a brick and mortar store, it's an online store and website where people can hire you as a holistic healer, or they can purchase your clothing lines online. It's not a brick and mortar place, right?
It's not. We have our pieces at a few locations, so we carry some of our pieces at some locations. Even in Mexico, we have a spot in Mexico. Yeah, so we sell our pieces, and not a lot. Like we keep a boutique, so I'll just stock a few pieces at. We've been at for my yoga, I also sell yoga haram pants. So we'll have some stuff at yoga studios. But mainly how I've been running the business is pop-up shops and events and festivals. So we were doing the Toronto festivals for years, and then the last few years we've been kind of supporting more local. So doing things at the Barrie waterfront or in Innisfil. So I've just more of a seasonal festival seller. Yeah. And that's how I've been doing it primarily for years. Because summer is my busiest season because I sell beachwear. So it's just been outdoor pop-up shops. But I also do private consults where you can view my pieces at my space here in Innisfil.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes I'll host shopping events where clients come, clients that I know, my regular clients and stuff. So they'll come to view my newest collections. Okay. And I'll just do it that way. But we're moving online. The world is changing, and so am I.
So people will be able to purchase your clothing line and whatnot online through your website eventually.
Absolutely. I think that's been a roadblock for me and something that I've been avoiding doing for so long just because I'm like, well, no, I like seeing people and it's one of a kind and I'd rather sell in person. And I think that's been my limited I don't want to do this, but the world is changing and online is where it's at. And so it's really something I've been tapping into lately.
Yeah. Mel, what is it that excites you about being an entrepreneur?
I think it's extremely empowering when you don't have to answer to anyone. But yourself, I think, it's my baby. It's my own creativity. So it's really empowering that I get to choose the path that my business will take. But I think for me too, I love seeing people ascend and elevate and I thrive off of the success of others, especially when I had part in it. So I think that's also really empowering. Being able to have an impact or being able to be an influence in somebody's life. And for the clothing side, same thing. When people feel good in the garments that I've provided them to wear, that's just so rewarding. I think that the business itself and what I offer people is empowering. And that to me is probably what excites me about being an entrepreneur is that I have a part in people's empowerment.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a big part of it for a lot of people, is not having to answer to a boss. But I think on the flip side of that, there's people that jump into entrepreneurship and don't expect it to be as much work as it is, because let's be honest, being an entrepreneur is probably like having 2 or 3 full-time 9-to-5 jobs, right? I mean, you don't stop. I mean, but again, as well, in addition to that, though, I find that with me anyways, as an entrepreneur, when I'm working on something, if I'm working on images or I'm editing, I get caught up in it and I lose time, and because it doesn't feel like work to me, because I love what I do.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that you nailed it. When I initially answered it, it's a huge part of it, where you're like, this is my baby, my work. I don't have to clock in between 9 and 5. And you're right. It is so much more work and hours than it is, at my previous 9-to-5 jobs. But it's weird, because I feel like I was more drained in those types of corporate positions, or whatever you want to call them, because it wasn't my own creativity. It wasn't my own. It's just different. It's a different type of work, and it's your own. And so when you've spent 70 hours, which is what I spend doing some weekends on my festivals,
yeah,
I'm tired, but I'm elated. I'm like,
yes.
I've just sold all these beautiful pieces, and people are tagging me in them. And it's like, oh, wow, like this is what I do. So those 70 hours don't feel like when you're in the corporate world and you've worked a 70-hour week or whatnot. It's just a different ball game when it's your own business and your own creativity and your own cultivation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It is. It's a totally different world. I find the corporate world is so soul sucking.
It is. And I wasn't in it for long. I mean, I was working in that field for about a year, I think, when I first decided I didn't want to become a teacher. And I thought, this is a good job for a short period of time, but if I want to deteriorate my health, then I'll continue on this path. If I want to heal and go on a better path, I'll do something else.
Exactly. So if you could go back, would you change anything about how you did things
with regards to my business?
Your whole path. Yeah, a bit of everything, like your path, the traveling, and you've done anything differently?
Yeah, I think that I would have, I don't want to say I would have changed my mindset. I mean, because I don't think that that's fair to myself or anybody, because we, even when we're in a negative state of mind, it's like that benefited me now. I needed to go through that. But when I look back at my perfectionist and criticalness, especially when I first started my business, I think that I missed out on a lot of opportunities, or not a lot, but, enough opportunities. And it was specifically because I didn't think I was good enough, or I was self-sabotaging myself, or I was doubting myself. And, that quote, your fear of failure cannot be greater than your desire for success. I think it was that quote that changed something in me, changed after that, because I thought, I'm doing this business, or I'm birthing this business, but I'm afraid. I remember getting an opportunity to practice Reiki at a clinic, and I thought, oh no, I actually can't. Those hours don't work for me. And when I look back at that, I was just afraid. I was afraid of stepping into my power. So I think that is something I would have wanted to change, is that I wish I believed in myself, and that it didn't have to be perfect, because I was just starting out. And you don't need to be perfect even now.
Right.
So exactly. I think that's one thing that I would change, was the constant dialogue that was rooted in, I'm not good enough, I'm afraid, I want to do this business, but then I would run away from an opportunity because I didn't think I was good enough.
Yeah. Fear.
That was a
fear is also a great motivator too, though, I think.
Pardon? Fear?
Fear is a great motivator. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, of course, fear sometimes can motivate us in ways that, like we're trying to get out of that paradigm. It's like when you know that you have fear, you're like questioning it.
Yeah.
And you're getting to the root of it. And that, I think, is the benefit of fear, if you will. It's like, okay, where does this come from? How can I grow from this? And now when I look back at it, it's like, I'm grateful for that fear, if that's what you're saying. Like I am grateful for it, because I had to get out of that paradigm in order to find myself in the places of success and of self-love and trust, you know?
Exactly. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful with your business and in life and your travels, all of that stuff?
Well, that's a really good segue to the last question that you just asked. Because it kind of fits. I think that I think my superpower became how to step into my power. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that's what my superpower was. I had done so much inner healing and shadow work, as they call it. And I think that was tremendously what aided in my success. I knew that I had these or these limiting belief systems. And that's what was kind of stopping me from moving to the next step. So I think that the more I healed, or the more anybody heals or understands themselves, the better success you'll have, and the more of an inspiration and an influence you'll be for people. And I'm not talking like power, like from an ego standpoint, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more so stepping into your power, as in like, know who you are and unlearn who you were told you were. You know, that's that. You know, get rid of because it's like, where does that fear come from? Projections, you know, distortions. Yeah, sure. Whatever it is. So I think that was my superpower, was finally stripping away, you know, all these ideologies or whatever it was that was stopping me from really stepping up in this business. And that was my superpower. It was like, F this, I am stepping into my power and I'm doing this. And if I fail and fall, great, I'll get up again. You know, that was kind of my change in mindset. Like I was telling you, when I first started out, it was a lot of doubt and self-sabotage. And so the success started when I, as cliche as it sounds, is when I believed in myself, you know?
That's it. But that's hard for a lot of people to do. That's not easy.
Of course. Oh, it's not. No, it wasn't easy for me. It's still not. I'm not
time.
I'm not entirely there, but you know, it's my purpose.
I think that's an ongoing lesson we have in life, is to believe in ourselves and love ourselves. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of time to get there.
Thank you for saying that and for seeing that and acknowledging that, because, you know, a lot of times you'll say this to people and they think it's like, you know, it's like the elevator. You're not going to just get to the 20th floor when it comes to your self-healing and and dismantling the old systems. It's work. It's inner work. And, you know, I started this way. When I started the business, it was one way. And now it's like we evolve.
Yeah,
and our superpowers will change.
Yeah, that's right. So speaking of superpowers, let's talk superpowers, like superhero superpower. If you could have one superpower, what would that be?
To fly. I've always wanted to fly. I have dreams about it. Like I just want to be able to fly, to go wherever I want, whenever I want. You know, that's just to fly.
What profession, other than the one you are currently in, would you like to attempt in your life?
I think my next one is to, I mean, I love practicing yoga, and it's been a huge part of my own healing journey and lifestyle. And so I think that my next profession would be a yoga teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on the that's there.
That's on the list.
It's on the list. It's in my heart.
It.
Yeah, it's there.
Ambition. I love it, though. That's great that you have the drive to want to do other things and add to your knowledge base. I think it's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we ever stop. Like, it's not like, okay, this is what I do. And I got out of teaching in the school system because it was regimented. So it's like, then don't be regimented. Like, you know, I always want to expand, if not the business, for myself. I don't have to become a yoga teacher to teach it. But like, for me, that's like it's just an experience that I'm really captivated by. And it's on there. It's
just something you want to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Who would you say have been the 3 most influential people in your life?
Oh my goodness. You. Oh my God. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to put Ishui on there, who's the founder of Reiki.
Okay.
I think when I got into the practice, it was for my own self-healing. So I'll put him up there because although he's not with us anymore, he left a legacy behind and taught me a way to heal myself and now others. And so I'm going to put him up there.
Okay.
Next up would be Deepak Chopra. He does, you know who Deepak Chopra is, but he guided meditations was kind of, he introduced me to meditation. And so I give him the second spot, not in order, but I give that to him. And the third person, you know what, I'm going to say my mentor, my spiritual teacher and mentor who I've been, who's been along my side for the last 5 years or so. I would say her, she's my guidance. So yeah, I'll put her there too.
Right. How would you like to be remembered?
How would I like to be remembered? That's a good one. I'll think about that one. I think I want people to remember me as the divine feminine, it's like the goddess archetype. What's the goddess archetype? It's like, and it's not just light. A lot of people, when they hear the word goddess, they automatically assume I just want to be remembered for this light that I am, which is great. I do want to be remembered for that, but I also want to be remembered for the dark parts of me that I was able to ascend from. When I work with my clients, I tell them, what makes me a good healer, or why I'm doing this, because I came from that. So for me, I want to be remembered as this archetype who isn't afraid of her voice, who knows who she is, like a woman of empowerment, a shapeshifter.
I love it.
But I think I also want to be remembered for my dharma. I'm here to guide others into healing. And I want to be a person who contributed to raising consciousness. And I think as women, we haven't been recognized for so long, for the work that we do. And I'm getting goosebumps when I think about this. And I think that's the one then. I think that's the most important thing I want to be remembered for, is that I'm not defined by the cycles and the old paradigm. I want to be, remembered for breaking those cycles and shifting the paradigm in the context of how women have been seen or unseen, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What would your perfect day be like?
Perfect day. I think, just simplicity. I think that life is so busy for me, and with 2 kids and just always trying to get things done. I think a simple day is just being in nature. I love nature. I love being near a body of water. So I think it would just be beach, sand, sun, family.
There you go. Pretty simple and straightforward.
Exactly.
If you could be any animal in the world, what animal would you be and why?
Oh my goodness, you're funny. These questions are really great. It's good though, because they're not questions people ask us on a day-to-day basis. So it provokes that thinking where you're like, okay, animal. Exactly. You know what? Actually, an eagle, and for so many reasons. One, it's my favorite yoga pose. It was actually a pose that I hated in yoga, the eagle pose. And I remember thinking, if I hate it, then, they tell you when you don't like a pose, then you need it. And so it turned into a pose that I disliked to a pose I loved. And it was the eagle pose. And I think that I developed like reverence for the eagle from the yoga pose. Yeah. And I think it would be the eagle. They if I'm not mistaken, they fly highest of all birds, soar like an eagle. Yeah. And so, and I told you earlier, I wanted to fly. So I think the
Very
eagle,
fitting.
it's a spirit animal, right? It's a power animal. And it's on my, I'm Egyptian. My background's Egyptian, and the eagle's on our flag. So I think it's like, it's a symbol of like royalty and courage. And so, I want to be an eagle, Brad. I want to be an eagle.
Awesome. What are some of the challenges you think the next generation will face?
Oh, challenges. I think that mental illness is on. I think that was one I need to take a deep breath, because it is a bit of a trigger for me. And I think that mental illness is on a rapid rise, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
I think that a lot of these, I don't want to say these and label, but the younger generation, if you will, they don't, you're seeing it so much now. There's no discernment, no proper knowledge, poor support systems. And then when we don't have these things established at a young age, what do you think happens to these kids when they're getting older? They're resorting to prescribed meds to heal when they've hit a roadblock, which is actually, I think that's going to be our biggest challenge, is that we're going to have all these people on prescribed medications because they don't know how to regulate or integrate their traumas or their behaviors or their anxiety or whatever it is. And it's perhaps it just comes down to developing healthier habits, more sleep, more grounding, proper nourishment, meditation, breath work, better friends. I can go on and on and on. But I think that what we're facing right now, and I think that we're seeing it even more with this, I don't want to call it a pandemic, this incubation, whatever you want to call it, this world shift. Yeah. I think that we're so quick to go to to believe in the system and to believe in the system. You know, you'll go and they'll say, you're not well, take this. You need to fix yourself. And, you know, the self-fulfilling prophecy, we're believing it. And it's scary. We're giving our power away and believing we're ill when someone tells us we are.
That's right.
And I think that's going to be our biggest challenge, is that if people are not taking accountability for their health and they're not being sovereign beings, I think we're gonna run into a lot of health issues, and we're just gonna, it's gonna be a big one if we continue down this path of, hey, you have ADD, here you go. You know, we don't tell our kids to sit down and meditate. No. But we'll tell them, take this medication.
That's right. Legal pushing, right?
Absolutely. So I think that's our biggest, that's going to, the overly prescribing our youth and convincing them that something's wrong with them and that they need to be fixed, rather than going to the root cause and just giving them a pill. Like, I think that's, I went berserk on this one because I have a problem with this.
No, I agree with you. It's ridiculous the way that I think that mental health issues still in 2020 aren't addressed. I think it's still looked upon as shameful. I think it's still swept under the rug and not talked about enough. I think the way to start things with this is through conversation. We need to have open and honest conversations about mental health, because it's rampant in society and it's only going to continue to get worse. So I think that everything needs to start with a conversation, but an open and honest one. And that means looking within yourself, and that's not easy to do, but that's where it all starts, is internally, and being able to speak openly and honestly about this issue.
Absolutely. And I think that you nailed it. It's exactly what I meant about the support system.
Yeah.
If our support system is our doctor, who knows nothing about us other than what he sees on the surface, it's like, oh, you're not sleeping at night? How long has this been going on? Okay. Yep. This is what it's like. And not just blaming the system or the doctors. I'm also blaming ourselves, because we don't have, we don't have the support systems, but also the support systems start with the support that we're giving ourselves, and we're not even doing that. Yeah. And so, of course, we're going to go and believe, what Dr. So-and-so said. It's like, well, and I always hear this with my clients, my doctor said I was ... Yeah. And it's like, right there is a huge issue, because your doctor is telling you what's wrong with you and you're accepting it. Yeah. And if we are going to if we're going to do this and continue to do this, then we're going to have half our population on prescribed drugs. Straight
it's
up.
Crazy. It is. It's sad. It's really sad.
Yeah. So thanks for bringing that out.
Oh, no problem. If you were stranded on a desert island and could only have one item with you, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Right away I thought food. Like, you see that conditioning. It's like, but no, it's one item. So can it be a person? Oh, okay. Yeah. Cause I'm thinking like, I think like that, I'm thinking of Lost. I don't know if you've ever watched the Lost. That was one of my favorite shows. And so I think like human contact, like, you know, a hug a day saves the day. Like, you know, I think if I can have a person with me, hopefully a good person. You don't want to be stranded with a really bad person.
No, but, definitely not.
Yeah. So I think that if I can be with another human being, like a person who I can be stranded with, that would be, like a dreamboat right there. Leave me there.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Passionate, vibrant. One of the two.
Okay. What makes you smile?
What makes me smile? I just heard a bird and I'm like, birds. Nature.
Nature.
Yeah, nature.
Okay.
My children.
Yeah. See, most people would think automatically that a parent's going to save their kids.
That what?
That most people would think that a parent, someone who is a parent, would automatically just say, it's my kids that make me smile.
They do, but you know what? Like, it's funny because it's like, right away, I heard the bird and I thought the bird, but then I was like, oh no, my children. But that's like an automatic response.
Yeah.
They do make me smile. Some of my sweetest, most precious moments have been them. But in the same token, it's like I'm biased. I'm like, my children, when they're having their good moments.
Yes, of course.
But yeah, they'd be right up. Yes, exactly. But they're right up there.
If you were guaranteed the correct answer to one question in life, what would you ask?
Who is God? I've always pondered with this question from a very young age. Like, where did the universe come from? Who is God?
All right. To what extent do you think that we shape our own destiny, and how much is left up to fate?
That's a hard one. So I think that I've like come to learn that like the major events that happen in our lives, like I feel like that's my perspective on it anyways, like the major events, I think that they're already predetermined, like our biggest successes and our worst tragedies.
Right.
I really believe that they are already written in our soul's blueprint before we even come here.
Okay.
But I think that's kind of my perception on that. But I think that our choices, contrary to the, you know, like our choices that from those experiences, the tragedies or the successes, whatever it may be, I think that is entirely up to us. Our choices is what shapes our destiny. So things that happen to us aren't necessarily up to us, or our tragedies aren't necessarily up to us. But I think that our choices, I guess, are what shapes our destiny. So I guess, the life-changing events that happen to us are our fate, but how we respond to them is our destiny.
Okay. I like that.
Thank you.
What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life, and what was your life like before learning it, and what was your life like after learning it?
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about this earlier, the self-sabotaging and like, you know, that self-love thing.
Yeah.
I think like for me, I always say that, you know, I used to always say, I'm learning. And lately my verbiage has been more like, I'm unlearning. So, you know, so I always say that, you know, as much as we have to learn, we have to unlearn. So I think that what I have learned in my life is to unlearn the things that I was taught from my environment, from my parents, from my social conditioning. I think that was a big thing for me. Unlearning what it meant to be who I am, unlearning so much of that lack of self-love and why is it that I've been feeling this way, or that I've habitually picked up this trait. So I think unlearning those traits and essentially learning how to love myself, because before that it was a life filled with what did you ask? You said, what was it like before and after?
Yeah. What was your life like before learning that, and what was your life like after learning that?
Yeah. So essentially, okay. So got you. So essentially it was, you know, not loving myself versus loving myself. So, you know, loving myself is a life filled with authenticity and empowerment. Prior to that, it was like fear, doubt, scarcity, what if? And there is still a huge element of me that is where those things come up, but nowhere near, where it was even a decade ago.
Yeah.
So I think just, I learned how to love myself. And I think that learning how to love yourself really shapes you into an authentic person. The more you learn to accept yourself and be yourself, there's nothing more authentic than that. There's nothing more authentic than that. And that's where I want to continue to go. I want to continue to be myself and be comfortable with myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What would you say, what does the word empowerment mean to you?
Owning it.
Owning it?
Owning it.
Just like straight up owning it.
Just owning it. Like
okay.
Everything we've talked about today is about stripping those layers or those projections that don't serve us. I think empowerment is reclaiming your power after failing, after falling. I think empowerment is a true testament of empowerment is not necessarily how, it's not how we got there. It's the journey. It's how you reclaim that power after something bad or tragic has happened to you. I guess that's kind of what empowerment is to me. It's about I think empowerment too is about collective consciousness. Like when you're empowered, you're inspiring others to be empowered. And so I think that our empowerment also it's like our due diligence. The more that you step into that power and authenticity and whatever it is, owning it, like I said, I think that the more that you are empowering yourself to continue on that path of authenticity, the more you're spreading that collectively. Like we are responsible for ourselves, but that energy ripples,
for sure.
If I'm empowered, then everybody around me is,
that's right. So you're right. 100%.
Yes.
What would you say is one of your favorite quotes?
That's easy. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Wayne Dyer. It's like the success one that I had earlier. This was a big aha moment for me again, because it's like the negative thinking patterns. You can look at something and say, oh, that's black and that's dark and gloomy. And, and it's but so's the moon. The moon is dark and darkness is beautiful. So it's like when I change the way I look at things, the things I look at change.
Right. I love it. I love that one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It really is. Perception and perspective is everything.
Absolutely. How do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
Success, good timing with that question, because I was on an abundant meditation journey for 21 days. And if you had asked me before that, I probably would have responded, success is synonymous with how much money we make, right? And so I think that I think success is measured by happiness. I don't think it's measured by our social or material status. I think that we're all here for the same thing: happiness, love, to be loved, and to love, peace. I think that's success to me. If we, it's not the money we make. It's our happiness. We're all striving for these attributes, no matter what's going on in our lives. If we can cultivate happiness, love, and peace, no matter what's going on in our lives, we've attained success.
Absolutely. I love that. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be for you?
I was going to say to love myself, but no, I don't. No, you know what? I would probably, advice, can it be like, I mean, I don't know if it's advice, but I think I would teach myself how to breathe. And I know that it sounds bizarre, because we assume that breathing is innate, which it is, right? Yeah. But it's, as much as it is innate, it's something that I had to learn how to do. And I think it was when I started my yoga practice where I'm like, I don't know how to breathe. Like they're telling you, they count to 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, I don't know how to breathe. And that starts from childhood. And so I think if I would go back to my young self, I would tell myself to breathe, show myself how to breathe, and remind myself that for as long as I was consciously breathing, that I'd be safe.
Okay. Do you have any big projects that you're currently working on or coming down the pike that you'd like to share with the audience with regards to your business?
If I share this, then I have to do it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Now
Accountability. I'll be your accountability partner. I'll kick your ass.
Completely. That's why I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you're asking this, because now it's like if I tell you it, it's like I got to be accountable.
Yeah, you're putting it out to the universe, so you have to do it.
Yeah. It's been a long time coming, but I think that my next big step is launching my e-commerce shop.
Okay.
And that's one thing that it's I haven't started, but it's like you've got to do it. My beachy sun lovers, and they're waiting. I get asked all the time, like, where can I find your store? How can I? So that's the next big one. And I'm also going to be teaching certified Reiki training starting back in fall. I wasn't doing it for a while because of my kids and just being busy with my own stuff. So online shop and starting to teach Reiki training, certified Reiki training as of fall.
Very cool. There you go. You've put it out into the universe, so now you have to
oh my goodness,
loud.
Pressure's on.
I'm going to hold you accountable.
I know you will.
And lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what do you think that last 30 seconds would sound like?
Oh my God, 30 seconds. I need like 30 hours. You know what? Big one for me. And it might sound negative, but don't waste your time dwelling on people, situations, circumstances, be it past or future, that are draining or toxic to your life. I think that when we eliminate everything and anything that keeps you from evolving or getting in the way of your dharma, you have one life to live.
Yeah.
Value your time, make it a good one, spend it doing what you love with whom you love, or spend it doing what you love with whom you love.
Yeah.
It's our birthright to be happy and healthy. So we deserve to have an abundant life, and we can have an abundant life, but you ought to make sure that you're getting rid of the toxicity outside you and inside you.
I love it. I don't think that's negative at all. I think that's a positive way to look at things. And I think that we all need to do that. So thank you for that amazing advice. I love it. Mel, thank you so much for agreeing to take part in my movement collective, my podcast, this movement I'm trying to build and grow. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, and I've enjoyed the conversation, and I appreciate you, and thank you for taking the time to share and talk about your journey and what you are doing in life and where you're at now. I truly appreciate you.
Thank you. And likewise, I'm so appreciative and honored that I had this opportunity and that you provide this platform for women to express their creativities and what they offer the world. And so I'm really, really grateful that I had this opportunity. Thank you.
Well, it's been my pleasure. And again, I appreciate you. And I love doing this. I love providing this platform to give women like yourself a voice and share your journey and your story. I think it can be so beneficial to so many women out there. So again, I truly appreciate you being here and helping me by being part of this, helping me to grow this movement.
Absolutely. The honor is mine, Brad. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography Podcast. My guest today has been Meleny Nadi. She is the founder and creator of Mellow Bliss based in Innisfil. Thanks again, Meleny, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
You as well, Brad. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.